Welcome, everybody. I'm Layne LaVanway, and you know what time it is. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about Into the Woods. Into the woods and out of the woods and home before dark. Alright, I am Layne LaVanway, and I am your movie reviewer today. Now, this must be the month of musicals. We have Annie, which I didn't actually get to go see, and then we've got Into the Woods. And that I did get to go see with the family. Now, Into the Woods is sort of a modern retelling of the Brothers Grimm's fairy tales. And in the story, we get Cinderella and Little Red Riding Hood, Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk, we get Cinderella, Rapunzel, and we get a witch, and they all get to sort of come together in this world where you have a baker and his wife. And the story revolves sort of all these characters meeting around this baker and his wife because the witch is asking for them to procure a few items to lift the curse that's been placed upon the household of the baker. And those items are a cape as red as blood, a cow as white as milk, hair as yellow as corn, and a slipper as pure as gold. And in trying to find these things, they begin to interact with some of our classic favorite fairy tales. So Into the Woods, if you didn't know or are not familiar with the property, is a musical based off of a Broadway musical with music by Stephen Sondheim. Now, the trailers didn't necessarily make this look like much of a musical. I remember the very first trailer that came out, there was no singing at all. And I believe the second trailer had a little bit of the I Wish song from the opening number. But if you are not a fan of musicals, you might not like this. Like 90% of this song is singing. So with all that being said, let's actually get into the movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I had a good time. Now, I like musicals, and so I went in, had just watched the play like a week before the movie, so that was fresh in my mind when we went in, and I knew sort of what to expect from the get-go, and I was really enjoying watching this. I really liked the Emily Blunt, who plays the baker's wife, and James Corden, who plays the baker, and you get to, and their relationship with each other. And James Corden is very funny, and he had some very humorous moments. And now the movie isn't sort of a laugh out loud riot as you go through the whole thing, but James Corden is sort of the everyman as this baker, and you're following him as he just wants to get the curse off his household so that he can have a child with his wife. And he has to go off into the woods to collect the 4 items I talked about, and you just get to see sort of as he's experiencing these crazy things and these people that he meets in the woods and how he has to deal with it to get what he wants. Now, I also really like Little Red Riding Hood, played by Lilla Crawford. She has an amazing voice. I really loved her. And in the play, she gets a lot of good humor out of that part. But in the play, it's also a teenage girl. I think it's played by an adult, but it's supposed to, I think, be a teenage girl. Now, Disney, who made this movie, made the choice to make her a much younger girl, which I didn't have much of a problem with, but it does cause kind of a weird scene between the wolf, played by Johnny Depp, which is a very small part. Even though he's the big name, he's one of the big names in the play, he's got a very small part as the wolf. And Disney chose to take the wolf and make him this very creepy character, and he's sort of supposed to be a predator. Whether you take him as a literal wolf or a metaphorical wolf, he is a predator. And in today's society, when we think predator, we think of someone who preys on children. And in the play, that's sort of a lot more of an undertone. Now, Disney sort of wanted to soften that up, but they made the wolf like really creepy and sinister, which is fine. If it had been a teenage girl, I would have a little more been okay with that, like the play. But in this, when you make him even creepier, and then you take a girl and make her even younger, it felt strange. I had a coworker who didn't know anything about it, and was with her fiance and their daughter, and she got real uncomfortable in that scene. Like, what is about to happen? What is going on here? And I think there have been some complaints around about sort of this pedophilia almost feel to it, and I could see how Disney was trying to soften things up with maybe the music was a little bit jazzier or some of the imagery was a little bit different, but it still came off a little strange. But I still liked the character of Little Red. I really enjoyed watching her, and she gets some very funny lines or moments throughout the entire show. Now, Meryl Streep played the witch, and I heard, as I was listening to a podcast talk about Into the Woods, that Meryl Streep has in her contract a no witches clause in her contract, which I thought was very funny. That, like, apparently when she turned 40-ish or 40, like, she got a bunch of witch roles offered to her, and she was a little upset or offended by it. And so into her contract went no witches. I will not be a witch. Don't offer me witches. I'm not going to read for witches. But apparently for this, she was interested because of Stephen Sondheim in the musical, and she was interested in. Clearly she did it. Now, I enjoyed her performance. I thought she brought a lot of, like, seriousness to the character of the witch, and she was a little bit creepy and a little bit goofy. Now, it's different than the play, because the witch is a lot more of a character, like a goofy, comedic character. But in the movie, the tone is a little more serious. And I think that the witch character, Meryl Streep's version of the witch, fit well into this universe of the world. And I feel like a lot of this play, like this movie and this idea is this metaphor of life. The woods is life, and people are going in and experiencing life in new and interesting ways. Now, even though some stuff was toned down from the play, you still are going, I'm not going to spoil it, but there is some death in this movie, and there are some more adultish type events happening in this movie if you haven't seen it already, and if you have, you would know what I was talking about. But again, I don't mind. Just because it's Disney doesn't mean I think it has to be a Disney cartoon movie where everything's great and wonderful and happy. And this the idea of this story is that people want things, they wish for things, and in their minds, what they want is important to them. But what do you do to get it? And you go out and you get into other people's lives, and your choices have consequences not only for yourself, but for other people that you have to come in contact with to achieve your end. And that when you finally achieve your happy ending, the story doesn't end at the happy ending. There is more to your story, and there are consequences to what you did to get to your happy ending. And now you're going to have to deal with those, because that is what life is. And I like that it goes beyond the happily ever after, and that, look what actually happens. This is possible, and you have to look at the decisions you've made and own up to these things, and either grow or become better, hopefully, or just realize that trouble is coming because of things you've done. And real quick, I want to wrap this up, but I have to mention that one of my favorite moments in the entire movie was between the two princes, which is Prince Charming and his brother, which is Rapunzel's prince, and Prince Charming, of course, is Cinderella's prince, and Chris Pine plays Prince Charming. Billy Magnuson plays Rapunzel's prince, and there's a moment where they sing Agony, the song Agony, which I really enjoy, and it's about how the agony that they feel for these girls that they can't have. Cinderella keeps running away, and he doesn't know who this girl is, and why would she run? And Rapunzel's this girl in a tower who he can get to, but he can't have her permanently because she can't get out. There's no doors. There's no way for her to get out of the tower. And the agony that these men feel as they try to one-up each other. And it's a great moment. And Chris Pine has a wonderful voice. It's quite amazing. But it was really a standout moment because it was just so funny and well performed, watching these two sort of compete about who's suffering more because of the women they just can't have. Okay, so I'm gonna give this, I'm giving this movie an A-. Right, A-. I really liked it. So if you're not a fan of musicals and you didn't know if this was a musical or not, you probably want to avoid it. You're probably, like I said, like 90% of it singing, you're probably not going to care that much about it. But if you are into musicals and you haven't seen this performance, I would highly recommend seeing it. And if you are familiar with it, yes, it's different, but it doesn't make it bad. There's plenty of differences that I felt were better or just fit well within a movie universe, because things have to change in a movie universe. So I would definitely go see this movie. Alright guys, so if you like the review, go ahead and hit the like button and support me and subscribe so you can see all the content coming out on the channel. We got movie reviews, and then every Friday we've got our show Psych Flicks, where we take current and popular movies and analyze a character from a psychological standpoint, trying to worm our way into their heads so that you can better understand the characters that you like or hate. I really appreciate all you guys out there watching. I'm just a regular guy who likes talking about movies with my wife and with my friends, and now I can open up my friendship list to you guys. So leave comments down below about what you thought about the movies. Heck, if you hate the movie and I say I loved it, tell me down below. We can just have a good discussion. You can just tell me why you hated it and where I was wrong, and we can talk about that too, because it's just my opinion. It's just my personal opinion of it, and I'm just a regular guy who just wants to watch a good movie and have fun, eat some popcorn, and then have some moments to talk about it. And this movie certainly has a lot to talk about, especially if you want to get into some of the themes and ideas that you might interpret of what is actually happening. So thank you guys all for watching, and until next time, watch more movies.